wanted to post a quick video on how to set up the M-Vave Chocolate wireless MIDI controller to control two devices. The Headrush MX5, which only has 3 foot switches. So this is a great enhancement to that to add 4 more foot switches. And also any Line 6 Helix device. So this should work with the full version of the Helix, the LT, the HX Stomp, and the XL Stomp as well to add some extra foot switches if that's what you're looking to do. Works pretty good. I'm using it wired, not wireless. Just seems more direct that way, and it'll send MIDI signals through Bluetooth. But if you buy the proper wires, you can set this up to communicate directly with those devices. So here are the connection cables that I would recommend. I did buy a 1/8 inch 2 MIDI cord on Amazon. I think it was $15, but it didn't work at all running into the into my Line 6 Helix. I bought the same cable, the Boss version, and it's got an adapter on here to go from 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch, but I used the same one in there. And as soon as I plugged this thing in, it worked right away. So I'll post links to this in the description, but I would not recommend buying the cheap version. And the Boss one, I think, was $20, but definitely worth the extra $5. And then the only cable you need to make the chocolate pedal interface with the Headrush, because the Headrush MX5 doesn't have a standard 5-pin MIDI. It just uses 1/8 inch tip ring sleeve to 1/4 inch tip ring sleeve from this end. But it's got to be, it can't just be a regular guitar cable. It's got to have the 3 sections there. And this just plugs right into the back. There's an input here that'll plug into. The app that you'll need to download for iPhone or iPad, and I assume Android as well, is called Cube Suite. That's the sort of the Bluetooth connection that you can use to change the settings on the M-Vave Chocolate thing, because you need to tell this device what signals to send to your Helix or to your Headrush MX5 so that you can change parameters in there. I'm going to use mine on the Helix to change snapshots because those are what I use the bottom pedals for. And I've had my my Helix for, I want to say 6 or 7 years, and a couple of the foot switches, they work, but sometimes you got to stomp on them a little bit more to get them to carry over. So this will be a great backup for if those switches eventually just go, or if I want to have an extra set of foot switches somewhere on the other side of my microphone stand, or if I need the Helix to be further away, I can put this really close to a mic stand and have access to 4 snapshots right away. So on your iPhone, you'll need to go into your Bluetooth settings and connect to the foot controller. That's this device here. And once it makes that connection, go into the app and have it search for nearby devices if you need to. It'll find the foot controller pretty quick. Click on there, and now it's connected. So to control snapshots on the Line 6 Helix, you're going to want to make sure that this mode is turned to Advanced Custom Mode. And then each one of these letters corresponds to a foot switch on here. So if I want foot switch A to control snapshot 1, which by MIDI it's actually foot switch 0. These are the settings that you'll need to use. So if you click on here, you want to have the channel of MIDI set to the same channel that the Helix is in. And you can go into the global settings and pick your MIDI channel there. I've picked number 5. You can pick anything, and as long as there's no other device on there, you really want the Helix to be on a channel that no other MIDI device is on. Then the next setting is to have the CC clicked off. You don't want PC. You got to go to CC. And 69 is going to tell the chocolate pedal to send information to snapshots, and 0 is the first foot switch that controls snapshots. So the bottom on the full size Helix, the there are 4 foot switches for snapshots on the bottom. So that 0 is going to control this one here for acoustic. That's just what I've named that. And then this would be, so it goes 0, 1, 2, 3 for MIDI messages. So I would save that and then go back and do foot switch B. That's going to be MIDI channel 5, CC, 69 for snapshots, and then foot switch 1. And so on down the line. C is set to MIDI channel 5, CC 69 2. And D is set to channel 5, CC 69 and 3. So those will access the snapshots. A couple of little tricks here. Of course, make sure you're in advanced custom mode. That's the one that you need to use to make this happen. There is this little double arrow here that it's tough to find. I didn't even know it did anything, but I got this thing going. It wasn't doing anything. And what it turns out to be is this pedal can be used as an expression pedal or send MIDI. You don't want expression pedal to be clicked. You want it switched to tip ring sleeve MIDI. That's what tripped me up for quite a while. I didn't know why it wasn't getting the messages. And then just click the arrow up here, like that, and you should be good to go. So we're going to connect the tip ring sleeve into here, and then the MIDI will connect into MIDI in on your Line 6 Helix. Once you've made those changes, you can turn off the app. It's only really used for programming it at this point. So if I set my snapshot to snapshot 1 and I want to change it to 2, I can use this pedal or this one here. You watch when I click here, change there, 3 and 4. So they're kind of aligned to the 4 buttons are there. And that might not be all that useful on the full-blown Helix, but if you've got a Stomp, these settings should work the same, and you instantly got 4 more buttons to control snapshots. You can also send MIDI data, program it to turn pedals on and off, or to move banks up and down, and all that information is in the Helix manual. Instead of CC69, there's another number that controls those parameters. So that should work well. For Headrush MX5 users, it's basically the same setup. Again, you want to make sure that you click on these 2 arrows and that the that this is set to MIDI, not expression pedal. Yep, set to MIDI. But when you go into each in custom, advanced custom mode, of course, when you go into A, you want to make sure that your Headrush is set to channel 5, that it's set to CC. And we're going to change this data to 75. That I'm going to use to turn foot switches on and off. I'm not using my MX5 to control snapshots or presets. I just want to be able to turn some foot switches off and on. So I've got in 75, I believe I got like a tube screamer in there that I'd like to turn on and off. And then this parameter, the data, is 127 because that's going to turn it on and off. And then for bank, for pedal B, I'm going to set that to 76 and 127. And then C, 77 and 127. So let's see how that lines up on the Headrush. Okay, on the Headrush, I've got the 1/4-inch tip ring sleeve plugged into the chocolate M-Vave pedal there. And then on the back here, there's a MIDI in that I'm going to plug the 1/8 inch into. Right there. Now those numbers for the CC values correspond to each pedal. So 75 is pedal 1, 76, 77, 78, 79, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can use those numbers to control those. And the number to control it is 127. But when I click on, so I set this to 75, it should activate that tube screamer. Yep. Just turned it. It looks like it's off in my display, but it's actually on. And then the next number up was 76. That's the anxiety OD. 77 is the chorus. And I think I programmed the last one to 78. That's not going to do anything because I don't have anything in that block. But the key here is, again, you want to make sure in your global settings under page 2, there are some MIDI settings here. You want to make sure your MIDI channel here, see I've got it set to 5. That's what I set it on the app for the wireless pedal. Same goes for the Helix. You'll have to make sure that whatever number you put in on the app aligns to what is in your global settings on your Helix.